Optimism, man. You have got to keep your optimism level high. Otherwise, we've got no chance. You have got to remain optimistic, positive, calm, controlled in the face of adversity, ladies and gentlemen. I am Chase Corrington. This is the Chase Corrington YouTube channel, and this, I think, is a motivational Monday morning. I'm not sure. One of the first motivational Mondays in a long time where I'm not doing this on lunch break from work at Walmart. You know, honestly, I hope they don't terminate me at Walmart. I was doing all right there for a while. I decided to listen to the president. Famous last words. I'm neither for or against, but I decided to listen to the president, and now I'm not sure if I'm going to have a job or not, because apparently the call-in system for Walmart is pretty complicated. You got to call a special number, a hotline, and then you select some options on the hotline or something like that. I called the store trying to talk to real people, and I was like, hey, this is my situation. They're like, well, okay, we hope the best for you. Call the hotline. I'm like, okay. So I'll call the hotline, you know. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this is... Jesus, is this person gonna fucking merge into... That was nuts. You gotta be careful when you're driving, ladies and gentlemen. Don't pull out in front of people. It's just common sense. The purpose of a stop sign is not to stop, it's to stop from going out in front of oncoming traffic. So a four-way stop is real confusing because there's no oncoming traffic. Anyways, optimism in the face of utmost adversity. I really don't know what to say anymore. This is kind of... I'm a very optimistic person, so I'm fine. Personally, all the end of the world research and conspiracy thought. I put years into thinking about the end of the world, ladies and gentlemen. And it got me to a place to where things like this can happen and I feel fine. Because I've already had years and years worth of dreams of a lot worse shit happening. I don't know if that's a good thing. I was telling somebody the other day, I wonder if in a few years I'll be totally crazy, sitting in a corner, ha ha ha, freaking out, you know what I mean? Not freaking out, but just laughing at society, just laughing at the way that things really are. You know, kind of like the monks or gurus you see in India that they just sit on the side of the street and they've been there for so long, people don't even know how long they've been there. And yeah, things are going on and whatnot, but they're in their own little world. Maybe that's a secret, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe we need to escape off into our own little world right now. But I think the most important thing, because there's a lot of opposite side of the story going on right now. Some people will say don't worry, and other people will say worry more than you've ever worried before. And I'm not a worry kind of person. So regardless of whether there's reason to worry, I'm not worried. Be prepared, don't be scared, ladies and gentlemen, as Rex Bear puts it. Or maybe somebody else came up with that quote, I'm not sure, but it's a good one. I think the key, though, is just maintain your happiness, man. Because there's a lot of people I got uncomfortable at work, at Walmart. Got uncomfortable going there. That's why I've, given in to the take a week off protocol. And I wasn't sure. I may be an empath. I feel like that's arrogant to say, so I'm going to say I may be. I'll leave that up to other people to judge, but I've always kind of like, when I look at a person, I feel their emotional state. Like if they're stressed, or if they're depressed, if they're overwhelmed, anxious. And that's why those are like the main things that I talk about is, finding, bringing happiness to life, overcoming the stress, the anxiety, all of those negative mind states. But I started noticing, while this started happening, like Friday the 13th, when everybody first started panic buying, was one thing. It was whatever. And then I had a renewed sense of purpose at work, and I felt really good, like I was making a big difference. And then I started to notice that there was, some folks that just weren't being smart about these necessary precautions that we may need to take or may not. I have no argument on that, but I'm just personally going to play it safe. And, I noticed I may be at risk. Although I was being smart about my decision making, it felt like at that point the smartest decision for me to make was to no longer go into a crowded area where there was other people that may not be making as smart decisions. And I started to really feel anxiety. I started to really feel fear. Not from myself. This was the weird part. I'm like, I'm calm. But I'm seeing in these people, every person I look at, it was an effort for me to get them, to feel better, to feel greater. But I've said this in the past to people. I really enjoy going out of my way to try to make people feel better. But sometimes I do get really upset about it with the people that I'm closest to. Because that's a different topic. Anyways, so I see all these people, and on a normal shopping day, like a year ago, 3 months ago, on a normal shopping day, I'd say 60% of people would be having an average, okay mood, and then 40% of people would be tired, lethargic, not excited. And then, a smaller percentage of that 40% would be just upset, anxious, stressed out, angry, upset at the world. But man, it quickly flipped to the opposite. And I felt inside of me that my interactions with people are limited, and there's so much that I can do to help people's mood and to help elevate people's mood from a random bystander circumstance. So, like you're just a shopper and I'm just a worker, and I'm like, hey, how are you? Make some small talk about something, try to laugh, and everything feels good. And, I help people out for a second in the mood department. That's so funny. I never thought of it that way, but that's kind of where I got my fulfillment at work. Didn't matter how many shelves I stocked. It was really the effects and differences I made in the mood department for the shoppers. But I noticed it got to a point to where it was like everybody was anxious. Everybody was worried. Everybody had irrational fear. Irrational fear. And I was like, oh shit, dude. This is good. We need to take a break. Like, everybody needs to get a hold of their fear. We need to get a hold of our minds. Like this. Gary Vee used to say about he probably still says. Gary Vee says about social media, like, this isn't making us worse. It's just exposing who we really are. And I think we might be experiencing the same thing in the real world. This coronavirus isn't making us worse. It's just showing who we really are. When you squeeze an orange, what do you get out? The old Wayne Dyer. When you squeeze an orange, What do you get out? You get out orange juice. These are real easy questions, ladies and gentlemen. And it doesn't matter what utensil you use. No. If you squeeze an orange on Wednesday, do you get something else out? No. It doesn't matter what day of the year. So if you squeeze a human being and you put pressure, tension on this human being, what do you get out? What's inside? Why do you get orange juice out of an orange? Because it's what's inside. So if it doesn't matter how you squeeze it, doesn't matter what time of the day it is and what time of the year, what utensil you use, you always get out what's inside, because that's what's inside. So when we start squeezing people and we get fear and anxiety and tension and anger, that's what's inside, ladies and gentlemen. So on this motivational Monday morning on the Chase Corrington channel, where we seek to achieve and maintain happiness through enlightenment, through positive psychology, and through a greater understanding of the reality we live in by figuring out the hidden wisdom of the ages, I think it's our job to go inside and start changing that orange juice. Start changing what's inside so that when we get squeezed, when we get pressured, it isn't fear, anxiety, tension, anger, and sadness that comes out of us, but it's peace, serenity, control, and happiness. I wish that on everybody. Let's go inside and create peace, inner peace. And speaking of inner peace, if you have the time, go watch Kung Fu Panda 2. And let's all learn about finding your inner peace in the midst of utmost turmoil and adversity. Spread the love, ladies and gentlemen. Call somebody you haven't talked to in a while, or call somebody you talked to yesterday and tell them you love them. Not because we're scared, because it's fucking nice. Because it's cool, man. Be like, oh yeah. Start, talking about funny stuff and have a good time. I'm like, dude, we're gonna make it through this. I love the Alan Watts. He talks about a moth flying towards the light. Bzz. And he says it doesn't worry when it's flying. And because it doesn't worry, it doesn't matter whether or not it hits the light. I think we're certainly going to avoid the light, ladies and gentlemen, but I think we're worrying our asses off like we're going to fly right into it, and we're not. When you squeeze somebody, what you get out is what's inside. So we need to start going inside and creating inner peace. I love you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back in the future with more interesting topics or just random thoughts off my head to throw your way. Thank you.